Imagine, if you will, a world where the shadows whisper and the wind carries messages from the departed. Welcome, dear listeners, to a realm where the boundary between reality and nightmare blurs, where the unthinkable becomes possible. Our first tale begins in a small, seemingly peaceful town nestled snugly in the heart of nowhere, a town called Silent Hollow. Here the sun shines a bit too brightly, the people smile a bit too widely, and the silence is a bit too silent. In Silent Hollow there's a house that stands apart from the rest, an ancient, ominous structure known as the Crooked Manse. An air of unease surrounds it, a tangible dread that seeps into the very marrow of your bones. The locals whisper tales of strange happenings and eerie noises emanating from the manse, but nobody dares to venture close. One day, a stranger comes to town. A man named Eli, brimming with confidence and a dismissive attitude towards the town's superstitions. He purchases the Crooked Manse, despite the townsfolk's warnings, and moves in. For the first few days, all seems well. Eli dismisses the tales as mere folklore, a small-town quirk. But then, the silence of Silent Hollow begins to feel oppressive. The shadows in the corners of rooms seem to move, and the wind carries whispers that seem almost human. One night, as Eli sits alone in the once grand living room, he hears a knock on the door. A slow, deliberate knock that sends chills down his spine. He opens the door, but finds nothing but the cold, empty darkness of a Silent Hollow night. This becomes a nightly occurrence. The knock always comes, slow and deliberate, always at the stroke of midnight, but there's never anyone there. Eli's skepticism begins to crumble, replaced by a growing sense of dread. He starts to see things in the shadows, hear whispers in the silence. One day, a man named Jacob, the town's oldest resident, comes to visit. He tells Eli of the house's past, of the man who built it, a man named Crooked Jack, who was said to dabble in the dark arts, of the night the townsfolk found him dead, his body twisted and broken, and of the pact he had supposedly made with something inhuman. Eli is shaken but refuses to believe, until that night when the knock comes again. Only this time, when he opens the door, he's greeted by an apparition, a twisted, broken figure that eerily resembles the portrait of Crooked Jack that hangs in the manse. And then, the figure speaks, its voice a mere whisper carried on the wind. It tells Eli of the pact, of the price to be paid, and then it vanishes, leaving Eli alone in the darkness. The next day, Eli is found by the townsfolk, his body twisted and broken, just like Crooked Jack's. The once confident man, now a mere echo of his former self, a victim of his own disbelief. And so, the tale of Silent Hollow continues. The Crooked Manse stands tall, its dark history a warning to all who dare to ignore the whispers of the shadows and the messages carried by the wind. But dear listeners, this is just one tale of many. Join us next time as we venture into another corner of this chilling realm. Until then, remember, when the wind whispers and the shadows move, it's best to listen, for who knows what might be waiting ... in the dark.